Hi, I am Sean Codifier.
I'm Holly Bronson.
I'm Shannon Donaway.
This is Education RX.
Well, and one of the things you and I talked about just recently was during COVID, when we all went into quarantine, there are a lot of students that had unique needs that it was a very difficult time to learn.
What was especially challenging, I think, for kids who had, various learning challenges was just that, John really couldn't do that if I wasn't right there at his side. Right.
Yes.
So to know that we had to log in to a particular Google Classroom at 10:15 for OT, he could not have done that without me being right there. And there were times, because we were in an essential business, we have a construction company, where I did have work too that was going on. And so I might get caught up in a meeting or a Zoom call or, a phone call or just a project I was working on and look at my watch and be, oh my gosh, we're late for PE, for home ec, whatever it was. And then we'd be logging in late and apologizing. And so there was just this situation where really no learning could happen unless I was right there. And again, I felt so fortunate that I was right there and could help him do that. Whereas I saw, because I had for the first time eyes to be able to see right into the classroom, that there were other kids that didn't have that support. And so some kids just wouldn't log in. There was one little girl that had a visual impairment. And her mom just, actually she was living with her grandma, and her grandma the whole computer world was really quite foreign to her. And so she just had difficulty logging in every day and finding her way around and figuring out, how do I do this? And so I found myself on the phone with her a lot, trying to say, okay, here's what you need to do. Do you see this? Do you see that? To try to just show her how to get online, And
And Shannon's going to say something clever.
I don't know. Clever? I'm not the clever one. The dog's walking through and the husband's walking through. All right.
And I saw more engagement from these significantly impacted students. And we're talking about students that are in wheelchairs, students who have significant autism spectrum disorder, students who are cognitively very low and or don't have a lot of academic skill. I have watched this teacher, and we've got other teachers we've worked with that do some pretty crazy good things too, so I don't want to minimize that, but I have definitely watched this teacher get more solid learning and progress out of these students, particularly during COVID and the back and forth with virtual and in person. I see more progress with those kids, these special ed, significantly impaired kids, than general education a lot of times. That I think is really cool. So let's talk about that.
First of all, thank you. That was like a pretty big introduction. Like, I was listening, I was like, wow, those are gonna be big shoes to fill, but those are my shoes. That's so weird. So thank you. Parents expect what is happening at home is going to happen at school. And it's not the case. Even with this student, I've seen the student do things inside the home that I haven't seen the student do inside of school. And it blows my mind. Trying to make sure that the kids were included in their non-special ed classes, that was incredibly difficult, because the non-special ed teachers were trying to make curriculum that was accessible for their students, but also they were trying to worry about our students. So purposeful inclusion, it went out the door completely. And that was really, really sad to see.
It takes all of us to turn things around.
Join us. We will see you right here.